Hi there, in this video we're going to learn about how to write the analysis of your paper. There's three basic steps to analysis. You first explain the quote in your words, then you break it down, which is the most important part, and third, you tie it back to your claim to show how your evidence proves your point. Before we start, let's look at the rubric to understand what we're going to do. To get a 5, your analysis has to be accurately explaining what the evidence means, and also how that selected evidence supports your overall claim that the revolution was good or bad, or the revolution was caused by this or that. To get a 6, you need to thoroughly and accurately explain the meaning of the text, which means don't just restate it, actually really dig into the meaning. Explain how the evidence supports your claim, but also see when the evidence is weak or there's things missing in the evidence. So let's practice doing this. I have an example down here that you could look at later on. It's about India, and there's a difference between 3, 4, 5, 6. But I'm actually going to do this on France right now using the graphic organizer from class today. And we're going to focus on body paragraph 1, which is a little bit different than body paragraph 2. Okay, so this is my body paragraph number 1. And in the body paragraph 1, I've taken one of my evidences to show how to do this, the political one. And here's my claim, that the French Revolution occurred because the king and queen, who controlled the country with absolute power and control, they politically oppressed the third estate. Okay, so here I have my evidence, but let me quickly read the context. During the 1700s, the King Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette ruled over France. They not only lived extravagant lives, but also limited political power to the other estates. In the following evidence, Queen Marie Antoinette is writing a letter to her mother explaining her life. She states, "On Tuesday, I had a party, which I shall never forget all my life. I cannot describe to you, my dear mamma, the transports of joy and affection which everyone exhibited towards us. Before we went through, we kissed our hands to the people, which gave them great pleasure. What a happy thing it is for persons in our rank to gain the love of a whole nation so cheaply." Now, we've read this before, and the first thing you need to do in analysis is explain the quote in your words. So I'm about to do that. So I literally just want to paraphrase what the queen is saying, okay? In this quote, Marie Antoinette is saying that she just had a big party, and during that party, she was amazed at how much people loved her on her by kissing her hand and showing their sincere gratitude and affection, which means love. She also says how she was so happy to see that the people loved her so cheaply without wanting anything back. So this is generally what she's trying to say here. In the explain it part, you literally just explain. Usually it's one sentence. Here I did 2. That's fine. Now is the break it down part, which is the hardest. And look, I've given you some questions to help you. First question is, why did this quote cause the revolution? Who did it affect and how? How did this lead to a revolution? And in general, how does political oppression lead to a revolution? To help you do this, I've designed this little box on the bottom to help you break down literally the quote, to see how one thing from the quote can lead to a revolution. So let's go back here and pick a word that we can break down. One thing that stands out to me is this phrase, "we kissed our hands to the people." Because when you give your hand to kiss, so for someone to kiss, that just shows that you're way higher than them. So I'm going to select that part to bring down here. Queen gives her hand, now let me put the quote, "to be kissed by people." Okay, so this is the phrase I chose. How would this lead to revolution? So let's try to break this down. Well, by giving your hand to be kissed by people, what do you think people think about you? Well, people, in my opinion, can be angry that they are inferior, which means low. What does that lead to? Well, when people think they're inferior, people want to get power for themselves. And what happens when people want to get power? Well, they can organize together to go against the king and queen, and that could lead to revolution. So now, in the break it down part, I would try to explain this over here in that same way. So let me do that, okay? So I can say, by giving her hand to be kissed by people, the queen is exerting her superiority over the people. This can eventually lead people to be angered because they are being looked down upon as second-class citizens with no rights. What else did I write here? So I said that one. Now I can do this one. How could this lead to revolution? Well, this can also lead to people wanting to get power for themselves, which leads them to, so they will want to organize and protest against the king and queen. Okay, thus the revolution would start. So how does oppression lead to revolution? Maybe I could also address this. When people have no political power and are looked down upon, they usually would want to rebel to gain those rights, like they did in the French Revolution. Okay, so now I've broken down the quote to say how it leads to revolution. And in the last part, I want to tie this back to my claim. What's my claim? That the revolution occurred because the king and queen gave people no rights and the third estate was oppressed. So I'm trying to prove that. So I would say this evidence proves the claim that the revolution started due to political oppression of the third estate, because the evidence shows the superiority of the queen during that time. All right, now I'm done. I've explained it, I've broken it down, tied it back. If you need more help doing this, you could watch this video again, or you could also go to the analysis tab and go to the sentence starters for body paragraph 1. Only explain it in one sentence, break it down in 3 to 4, and tie it back in one sentence. And these are some optional sentence starters to help you. When you're done, watch the video for body paragraph 2.